We've just entered Kennesaw Mountain National Battlefield Park. Kennesaw Mountain Battlefield National Park. Kennesaw Mountain, yeah, National Battlefield Park. National Battlefield Park, yeah, that's it. It's a mouthful. We're on a service road that gives us access to the trails from the street. It's a non-standard entry into the park in a sense, but it's the way a lot of people who walk here every day enter the park. I think we need to adjust the sign that says not just pick up after your pets, but carry your poop as well. Yeah, it's kind of a sore spot with me, but rather than just continuously complain about it the whole time, I'll just pick up and leave. Oh, here's our first one. Right in the middle of the trail. How nice. Okay. So we approach our first real decision point coming into the park from this direction. There's Camp Brumby Trail that we're on, and then there's a loop that runs off to the right that goes around Camp Brumby. Around Camp Brumby Trail. Boy, I could tell pronunciation is going to be an issue. So this is a CCC camp from after 1929. So this was 1938 to 1942. Camp Brumby Trail. This is the loop that follows around the outside of it. We get to the other side of this loop, there's some ruins left behind from the original camp. I'll show you those. So we come up on our first ruins. Pipes set in concrete. I have no idea what that is. Absolutely no idea what that is. There's no marker for it. "20 years ago, for all of the ruins that are out here, there were signs. Not sure what has happened to them. It is a beautiful morning here in the park. Another built-up flat spot. Unfortunately, another lost sign that says what this was. I believe that this was a command home. I can't remember for sure though. One thing that we do know is that the CCC loved concrete. They did a lot of work with concrete and things that they did, whether they were building shelters on the AT, on top of mountains that are nearly inaccessible, all the way to their camps. So we have a marker here. This marker probably does not belong here. Department of the Interior Service. Unlawful to move pin. Yeah, these markers probably did not originally belong here. They all have pins on top of them, survey markers. Interesting. I don't remember this from, again, 20 years ago. I wonder if the Park Service, who else could have brought them here? Just try to imagine what this was like, hustling and bustling. People coming back here after working all day, very hard labor usually, but also for really good pay. This is how many families survived the Great Depression. What were they paid, you wonder? I believe the number was $30 a month. That was $1 a day. And that was great pay. 23 of those dollars had to be sent home to the families. That was one of the conditions of working and participating in the CCC, being an enrollee. You got to keep $7 for the monthly wages. And $7 was considered decent money. They could go into towns on the weekend, spend their money on things they probably shouldn't have. But such is the way. So scattered throughout the park, you will find these trash cans, and yes, I could throw what I've already picked up into that trash can. I haven't picked up enough yet. There'll be other cans to visit. So I'm spending a lot more time here than I probably will in the other places. Again, all part of the New Deal. This is an area that when I started coming here, again, 20-some years ago, in 2001, it was much different. This area over here, you see houses behind this wall, were ruins, actually remaining ruins of buildings, standing buildings. An infirmary, a blacksmith shop, all sorts of things. They've been lost to history, lost to development. This is the education building location, currently a home. Adding education to the CCC camps came after several years. Many of the people in the CCC, like many Americans at the time, were illiterate. And the education camps were designed to build some basic literacy and math skills to help the people as we pulled ourselves out of the Great Depression. Moving on, because we've got a lot to do today. So as much as I've complained about the new development near Camp Brumby, these homes have been here for many, many years. This one in particular has left water out for dogs and a hose for hikers for the entire 20 years that I've been here. Ah, a carefully hidden bag. Let's put that away. Yoink. There are a lot of interesting plants out here that I don't expect to see necessarily. we approach our next opportunity to make a decision. Normally, I would go up this cutoff trail to the bottom of Little Kennesaw, over Little Kennesaw, then Kennesaw Mountain, and then down towards the visitor center and loop back. Today we're going to continue on straight. After we take a moment to sit on the Eagle Scout bench and get a little bit of water. Okay, I lied. We're going to take the shortcut up through to Little Kennesaw because there are deer up here. I know a lot of places, a lot of people, deer are no big deal. Deer in the park are different because they don't really care. I don't know if we'll be able to get close enough to see them on camera. Ah, it's a her. See if we can get a good clear shot of her. Scratching her nose. Hard to get a good clear shot. There's a lot of... Oh, there's two. How are you? Hope you can see them. They're actually not that far away. There's three. One further on, four. Heard a deer? Of course I heard a deer. Oh, there's five. There's a lot of deer here. Is there any behind coming up? That's the tail end of the group. We'll see you further down the trail. What we're on now is a recent to me, within the last couple years anyway, improved trail that made it safer to cross Burnt Hickory Road. And it looks like it's still going to connect us to the original trail, which was a nightmare to cross the road there in the past. So this was the original trail, the original crossing. There's some killer steps there, and getting across the road was very difficult. These improvements are very nice. We're just past the old Salem Church, the Confederate 4-gun artillery battery. This place, you can still see the embankments the guns were placed behind, including the cut-throughs the guns fired through. It's easier to see the embankments here where the guns were placed. So we have a network of trenches here, embankments cut into the ridge line. This would be Jackson's Brigade, Walker's Division. What I'm looking for is Grist Division. Grist being the, perhaps the general, I don't know. I should figure that stuff out before I talk about it. But it's a lot of work to do. If you've done any digging in the woods, you know this is a lot of work. Everything is a root or a rock, especially in Georgia. And we get to go back because somehow I dropped the map that gave the names of the trails to share with you. Can't really be indignant about picking up other people's poop if I'm going to leave maps laying around. Found you. Speaking of poop, horses. Horses are allowed on the trails here. No bicycles, but definitely horses. I've yet to actually meet a horse on any of the trails. I'm looking forward to the day that I do. So we're off the Salem Creek Trail and we're on the Noses Creek Trail now. This is where you get the up close look at different embankments and the trenching. Walking very close to where the Confederate troops, Jisk Brigade. Now I need to check these, and this would be the high point. So now I need to open up the scavenger hunt sheet and see what it asks me. I think it's division, Walker's Division, I'm not sure. Anyway, we'll get back to you. And for anyone keeping track, we're 4.75 miles into the day. I'm expecting to get at least 20 today, I think. We'll see how the feet hold up. And we're at another decision point on the Noses Creek Trail. We're going to continue on towards Cheatham Hill. We want to get as far south in the park as possible so we can start completing these loops and working our way back to the mountain itself. This is the site of an old sawmill. There are some more primitive trails here on either side of the creek. They're legitimate trails, which are nice, and we'll be exploring those later. Again, we continue south towards Cheatham Hill and Kobe Farm. Ah, yes, this is nice. Let's get you to a crosswalk, it looks like. They've made a lot of improvements since I was this far south in the park last. This road is definitely difficult. Immediately after crossing the road, we're on the Ceasefire Trail. This is going to take us down to the Illinois Monument. Hopefully when we get to the monument, there'll be a plaque that tells the story a little bit better than I can. And let's just see what we end up with. It is strangely unnerving to walk in front of those guns. Interlocking defenses. Let's get back to the main trail. I haven't seen this amount of trail erosion ever. It looks like there might be tool marks. Maybe it was cut down to make it easier for people to walk through here, but if this isn't machine cut, I'd be surprised. This is our 1st Union sign. 1st Brigadier Kimball, 2nd Division Newton, 4th Corps Howard. A Union and Confederate sign next to each other. That's a good sign. More of the cannon. These are shorter and a larger bore size than what we saw earlier. Okay, so we have a little bit more to Cheatham Hill and the Illinois Monument. 4.7 miles from the Visitor Center. Let's check in on Strava and see how far we've come. 6.64. Approaching a fork in the road, there's no sign, but I do know that up this hill is the Illinois Monument. Difficult to read, probably impossible on the camera. This tunnel was planned with the view of blowing up the Confederate works, which their evacuation made unnecessary. So at the very top of this hill is the parking lot, the Cheatham Hill parking lot for the Illinois Monument, where we just were. This is one of the earthworks that runs down. This ridge runs quite a ways, all the way down to the next trail where I just walked up from. This is what happens. I don't know if we'll be able to read that. So with this, we have the option of going to the Cheatham Hill parking area or the Kolb's Farm East Trail. Small triangle, we have the same choices down there. I'm going to go down to the parking area. Gives me a little bit more than a half-mile of distance, and it is a nice day. I'm having a lot of time to think about what Civil War means. In today's climate, is it much different than it was originally? In addition to having no idea that this parking lot was here, unless this is, okay, I do know that this parking lot here is here. We walked on the trail. The Illinois Monument is straight ahead. The trail for the ceasefire trail is over there. What I did not realize is on this side of the parking lot, I believe that's the case anyway, here are bathrooms. I had no idea there were bathrooms at this end of the park. All right, so we're back on the Colby Farm Trail, or Code Farm Trail. It's about 4 miles down to the actual farmhouse, which is the southernmost point of the park. So what we've got here is a little bypass on the trail. It's a fork in the trail. This will connect, the main trail goes this way, and it's this double track. And it's a nice trail, but this looks a little bit less used, and it does connect back to this very, very shortly. So I'm gonna follow down through here, see what this looks like. A little bit more, less traveled, I guess. This little cutoff trail, which appears to be an original trail from the area, as opposed to a more manicured version. Looks like there's a wetland down here of some sort, or a meadow anyway. So the further south we go, the more of these sniper trails that I'm seeing. Now this is following a waterway, so there's probably water pipes underneath the ground here as well. So it's a right of way for infrastructure. But we're getting ready to pop over the creek on a small wooden bridge. I had no idea any of this was here. The horses can go down to cross the creek there. Guess that makes sense rather than having them try to cross the wood bridge. We definitely found the hidden gem of Kennesaw Mountain National Battlefield Park. It's this southern area where, you know, a lot of the fighting took place, but also, you know, is a battlefield. But this is an amazing trail to walk on. It's beautiful. We've got this creek down here with flowing water. I do need to figure out where that water comes from to find out if it can be drank. But you know, this is reminiscent of a lot of the AT level of trail maintenance. You know, it's not built as a super highway. Just spoke with a couple who've been coming down here for years. Said that it wasn't even this beat in that long ago. So it's all amazing. Appears to be an old unmaintained trail on the other side of this ravine. I just passed it up. It's not on the map, so probably 99% sure I won't include that in this. Maybe someday I'll come back and check it out. We're really supposed to stay on the designated trails in the park. That trail's awfully beat in over there though, so it might be a real trail, just not on the map. And I found my answer. It's not actually supposed to be on the map. It's leading into the backyards, some people, so it's access for residents of the area. We're about to pass by one right now. And the trails remain pretty. They aren't always calm and quiet. Right now we're along a major road, probably Dallas Highway, 55-mile-an-hour zone. Welcome to Georgia. So we're here. I'm just going to assume this is the trail. It's a blue and a green marker. Yeah, so this is the trail. So I believe that's Colby Farm. We're on the southernmost end, nearly, of the park. Yep, Colb's Farm is a sign there. Signage down here isn't amazing, but the trails are easy to follow. If I'm reading my map correctly, and I could trust that sign, leaving Kennesaw Mountain National Battlefield Park, we are at the southernmost point of the park. The reason why I think it's correct is the map shows a hard right turn away from Powder Springs, and that's what we're looking at right here. We're on Colb's Trail. We made the turn north after reaching the southernmost point, so we're heading back up. I believe the western side of the trail itself. We're at 11.5 miles right now, so not too bad. It's, I don't know, maybe 1:30, 2 o'clock. So we've been out here about 4.5 hours. I didn't even see you guys there. You see that? Stopped for lunch at 13.5 miles, overlooking this beautiful hillside down. We're at Cheatham Hill Road. We're going to cross here, the parking area right down here. Should we cross here, or do we go down there to cross? We go down there to cross. Could cheat and cross here, but there's no point. Continue on the Colb Farm East and West Trail. Don't know if we'll come back this way to hit the beginning of the John Ward Trail, but I don't think we'll need to. I think we're only going to miss a small action of it. A little bit of sidewalk, and we'll drop back in the woods. So in the comments, who knows what this tree means? Of course, not necessarily this tree particularly. It would have to be a much larger one. What the heck is flying over here? It's another Blackhawk. Not sure I would drink it, but it's there. Not sure if this is the green trail or just a trail that runs out to someone's home. No signage. Gonna keep moving. If I don't see the green trail up here, I'll definitely see milepost 4.5 that'll take us to the Illinois Monument. I think I'm going to continue. Don't know. I'm going to look at the map. I'm not far from where I need to be. Either one of these will take me there. Yeah, I'm going to continue up the Ceasefire Trail. That's the green one. I lose a very short amount of the Code Trail, so that loop. But I think I might have already collected that earlier today. I'm not sure if I've already been on this trail or not. I don't think I have. But either way, this is going to take me up to the monument, the parking lot where I can get some water or additional water. Then I'll continue on with all the loops. Okay, I lied. We have guns pointing at us again. Not the same ones as before. Still chilling. Okay, we are officially back into the middle map. Yellow goes one way, green goes the other way. Off of this is yellow-green trail. So I think there's another issue with signage here. This is the Hardage Trail, Hardage Mill Trail, which leads up to, I just walked up to the Noses Creek Trail. It's 0.1 miles up, just as the sign says. And that was the trail that when we crossed a bridge, it was off to the right. And I said, we'll hit that one later. Well, I did hit that. But the Hardage Creek Trail is supposed to continue from here. So I'm guessing it's on the other side of this creek. So I'm going to cross here and see what happens. See if I can cross here without falling. Is this slippery? Good. No, it's not. Getting across is easy. They built a dam. All right. I guess that this is the way to go. Hardage Mill, so the mill would have been here. This is probably Hardage Mill Trail continuing on. This is interesting. This is very fresh. It's not concrete. It's crush and run put into these anti-erosion steps, if you will. Built with pressure treated wood. I'm assuming they're going to armor it in with rock, and it will become part of the landscape quite quickly. Will definitely protect this hill from water based off of foot traffic that, you know, creates paths of least resistance. We're looking for this for our scavenger hunt. So we find ourselves at a four-way intersection with a single marker that says the trail that we came from is the Hardage Trail. This is pointing this way. It tells me this is the way we want to go. So that would be a sniper trail, and that would be a sniper trail into the fields. That one crosses across the field to Noses Creek Trail. And this is a trail we will come out on tomorrow. This is a sniper trail. Basically, it's a trail that is not sanctioned by the park yet. It connects to the 24-gun battery on the other end of the park, at the northern end of the park. So it's primarily for horses. It doesn't have a name, and it's not marked at all, but it is one of my favorite trails in the park up until what I found today. The steps that I showed you that were being built a few clips back, this is what they'll look like after they've been completed and weathered in. A nice rise on them. It's not too difficult, and they're pretty good for erosion control. So we're at a T intersection. This will connect us back to Noses Creek, where we were earlier today. Just drops us down into that field. You walk across the field and then head south again. We are going to continue heading north, a little bit west and north, because we're at 19.5 miles already for the day. We've got at least 3 miles of Camp Rumby Trail to get back to our campsite. No, we're not camping on federal property. That would be illegal. I am stealth camping in my excursion, which is kind of the reason for coming out here, is to test out some of the things I put in it as I'm preparing for a travel job. Last travel job I had, I stayed, I carried a camper, a travel trailer with me, and did save some money over apartment rents, but not a lot, renting in a RV resort and then all the constant upkeep of it. So I want to minimize minimize a little bit more down to just a vehicle. And so we're going to see how comfortable it is right now. Well, not right now, a little bit later tonight, after a 23 to 26 mile day, and set us up for another tomorrow of similar miles with a lot more elevation gain. Tomorrow is going to be awesome as well. Tomorrow means Little Kennesaw Mountain, Big Kennesaw Mountain as the finale. Prior to that, we'll definitely be hitting the 24 gun battery and some stealth trails. And we have another stealth cut over to Noses Creek. Basically, these make it easier to do loops, shorter loops. If you're running or just coming to the park to walk, the parking lot is just up around the corner here. Walking past one of these grassy fields. These are not activity areas. These are areas that you're not allowed to go onto. When I first moved here, I had zero understanding why. At the beginning of this trip, beginning of this hike earlier today, I talked about I thought I understood why. Because people wouldn't take care of it. After finally hiking the southern portion of this park, I understand why these are off limits to us. This is where thousands of people died. Thousands of people who died for what they believed in, or what people who could make them fight believed in. A lot of people didn't have any choice. They certainly didn't stand any chance of surviving. Now, I almost have to say we don't deserve to walk on those grounds. So we crossed back over to the northern map. So I know where I am finally. We're climbing Pigeon Hill. We'll actually cut off before we get to the top, I think. The cutoff is make our way back to camp and leave the summit of Pigeon Hill to be done tomorrow with Little Kennesaw and Big Kennesaw after we do the 24 gun battery. This is kind of a brutal hill for the end of the day though. I don't know if it looks like much on camera, but it's definitely uphill. On a good day it'll win me. So we'll find out what happens. Somewhere along this video I'm going to say that Kennesaw Mountain Park, National Battlefield Park, the hiking has a little bit of everything. And it does. Including a rock scramble. That'll wipe you out. Okay, don't fall down. There we go. Another entrenchment. All right, continuing our trip up Pigeon Hill. It's ironic or bad news, I don't know what you would call it. I don't know if I'd said it out loud or if I was just thinking about how 20 miles has gone quite well for me today. No issues with my knees or ankles. About 10 steps after that, I developed a hot spot on the big toe of my left foot, which is going to develop into a blister if I keep walking on it. I have to keep walking on it. I don't have anything to treat a blister with me, but I do back at the truck, so tomorrow might be a lot of fun. Regardless, We are not going to continue the difficult way. We're going to take the easiest, shortest way back. Camp Brumby Trail. I don't know if this trail is named. It's a neat little cutoff. It saves you from a little bit of rock scramble that we'll do tomorrow. Anyway, I'll check back in when we get closer to Camp Brumby so we can continue looking for that marker in our scavenger hunt. You see the deer directly ahead of us? Let's go see if how close she'll let us get. She's ready to bolt. She doesn't trust us. There you go. You don't have to worry about me. There's usually others. I don't see any others around. All right, let's get back to getting back. We're at 22.5 miles, calling it the end of the day. Got a little bit of a blister working on the left toe. Not a big deal. I think I caught it in time, and it should look decent tomorrow. I should be able to hike tomorrow, no problem. Got a little bit of ways to go to where I'm camping. I'm going to keep the Strava running to record the distance, but yeah, it's going to be a little bit less than 23 miles total. Tomorrow, maybe 15, I'm thinking, is what it looks like. I'm guessing. But a lot of elevation, so should be interesting. Have a great night, guys. Actually, no, it probably isn't the last one. The whole point of this was, again, to camp in the excursion. So I'll show you what camp looks like once we get there. Step one after getting back to camp is to set up your tent. Tent is set up. All right, step two, start boiling water, make dinner. Got to choose dinner first, but I'm going to boil the water on the other side of the truck, reduce the amount of attention that it gathers, and hopefully it will be satisfying. Not sure what I'm going to have. Might make macaroni and cheese, might make Spanish rice. Could be meat, could be cake. Eat cake. Have fun. Now, bring 2 cups of water to a rolling boil. And without burning the shit out of yourself, pick up that boiling water. You pour it into a freezer bag, a Ziploc freezer bag that has your Knorr Spanish rice side in it. And then you drop your cup on the ground. Okay, we move the light up to here. Move the camera over to here. So we bring our cup up. And we condense all of this mess to go back into the cup. It's apparently easier said than done with this particular bag. Ow, 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 hot. There it goes. You zip it. Pushing as much air as you can out. Ow, ow. You find your top. You put your top on it. You take your stove. You set your stove on it. And you turn off the light because you're collecting mosquitoes.